So my
The
dear students,
density and molar mass of gaseous substance.
okay. So today, let us revise those topics that we have studied yesterday. That we have studied about the universal gas constant. We know that the universal gas constant R is 8.314 joule per Kelvin per mole. At the same time, we may have the value of universal constant R is equal to 0.082 liter into atmosphere per mole Kelvin. So this is how, my dear students, we can easily understand about the two different values of R, which is known as the universal gas constant. Now, my dear students, we need to understand that why, like, what are the other names and things that we know about the ideal gas equation. So we know that ideal gas equation is equal to PV is equal to nRT, but for two different states P1 V1 T1 and P2 V2 T2, we can write P1 V1 is equal to nRT1, P2 V2 is equal to nRT2, and this is how, my dear students, we can write finally P1 V1 upon T1 is equal to P2 V2 upon T2. This P1 V1 upon T1 is equal to P2 V2 upon T2 is also known as the combined gas law. So we can represent the ideal gas equation in these two different form. We can write ideal gas equation as a PV is equal to nRT. At the same time, my dear students, we can write the ideal gas equation as a P1 V1 upon T1 is equal to P2 V2 upon T2. And we call this ideal gas equation with these three names: ideal gas equation, equation of state, and we can even call it as a combined law. So after studying all this, we have solved one problem, and then we have derived that the density of or the molar mass of the gas is directly proportional to its density, or molar mass is equal to dRT upon P. So if density, temperature, pressure and gas constant are known, my dear students, molar mass of the gas can be calculated, where here in this equation capital M represents the molar mass of the gas, D represents the density of the gas, R represents the gas constant, T represents the temperature of the gas, and P represents the pressure of the gas. We are already aware that PV is equal to nRT, so we can write P is equal to nRT upon V. Therefore, N upon V is equal to P upon RT, because N is equal to number of moles of gas, that is given mass divided by molar mass, that is small m divided by capital M. So M divided by capital M into V is equal to P upon RT, because we have written N is equal to small m divided by capital M. Therefore, 1 upon capital M into small m divided by V is equal to P upon RT. Small m divided by V is nothing but more mass by volume, which is represented as a density. So we can write 1 upon capital M multiplied by D is equal to P upon RT, and therefore D upon M is equal to P upon RT, and therefore dRT by P is equal to capital M, or capital M, that is the molar mass of the gas, is equal to the product of density, gas constant and temperature divided by the pressure of the gas. Now, my dear students, we are going to study in detail about the Dalton's law. So here we are going to study about the Dalton's law of partial pressure. Let us study the Dalton's law of partial pressure. The law was formulated by John Dalton in the year 1801. The statement for this law is: the total pressure exerted by a mixture of non-reactive gases is equal to the sum of the partial pressure of individual gas. Once again, the total pressure exerted by the mixture of non-reactive gases is equal to the sum of the partial pressure of individual gas. That means the pressure which these gases would exert if they were enclosed separately in the same container, in the container having the same volume, we can say, in the same condition of temperature and pressure, is known as the partial pressure. So what is partial pressure, my dear students? Let us study it once again. The definition of partial pressure, I am reading it for you once again. The pressure which these gases or the pressure which the individual gas would exert if they were enclosed separately in the same container, means the container having same volume, same temperature and same pressure. That particular pressure is known as the partial pressure. So here you can truly understand the definition of the partial pressure. So suppose I have two gases, gas 1 and gas 2, and if I fill them in the volume of V separately, then the pressure exerted by them is known as the partial pressure. Now I mix both of them in the container having the same temperature, same pressure and same volume. That pressure is known as the total pressure. So in the mixture of gases, the pressure exerted by the individual gas is called partial pressure. Mathematically, the total pressure exerted by the mixture of gases is known as P total is equal to P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus dot dot dot. It depends upon the number of gases. If there are two gases, then we can write P total is equal to P1 plus P2. If there are three gases, then we'll write total pressure is equal to P1 plus P2 plus P3. And for n number of gases, we can write P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus Pn. But this is what it should be at constant temperature and pressure. Now, my dear students, we are going to study it in detail, where P total is the total pressure exerted by the mixture of gases, and P1, P2, P3 are the partial pressure of gas number 1, 2 and 3 respectively. Now, gases are generally collected over water and therefore they are moist. Do you understand what is the meaning of moist? The meaning of moist is they have water vapor inside them. So this is they have moisture. So pressure of dry gas can be calculated by subtracting the vapor pressure of water from the total pressure of the moist gas, which contain water vapor also. So my dear students, we can write this formula. Please learn and remember this formula, that the vapor or the pressure of the dry gas is equal to total pressure minus aqueous tension. Please remember, total pressure minus aqueous tension is equal to the pressure of the dry gas. This is a very important equation. Please learn it and remember it for a longer time. Now the question arises, what is aqueous tension? What do we understand by aqueous tension? Pressure exerted by the standard water vapor, pressure exerted by saturated water vapor is called the aqueous tension. Please remember, here the word saturated is very important. So pressure exerted by saturated water vapor is known as aqueous tension. Once again, pressure exerted by saturated water vapor is called aqueous tension. Now, my dear students, we want to study a new concept which is known as the vapor density. The density of a particular gas or a vapor relative to that of hydrogen at some pressure and temperature, at same pressure and temperature, is called vapor density. So my dear student, if we divide the density of a given gas with the density of hydrogen, then it is known as the vapor density. Vapor density is the ratio of weight of certain volume of gas at vapor compared to the weight of an equal volume of hydrogen. So we can write here, my dear students, that vapor density is equal to the molar mass of the gas divided by the molar mass of the hydrogen. Do you know what is the molar mass of the hydrogen, dear students? Do you know what is the molar mass of the hydrogen? Dear students, I am asking you, do you know what is the molar mass of the hydrogen? The molar mass of the hydrogen is 2. So we put the value of 2 gram per mole. So the molar mass of hydrogen is 2 gram per mole, and that is why we can write here that 2 gram per mole instead of molar mass of hydrogen, and that is why we can easily find out that molar mass of the gas is equal to vapor density multiplied by 2. You just simply multiply this vapor density with 2 and you get the answer. So this is how, this is the formula to calculate the molar mass of the gas. If vapor density is given to you, You just need to multiply the vapor density with 2 and you get the molar mass. Now let's move to the next point, my dear students. Aqueous tensions of water at different temperature. Please remember that for different temperature we have a table. In this table we have represented the aqueous tensions of the various tension of the water vapor at various temperature. Aqueous tension of water at different temperatures. So you can see here that the temperature when 273.15, the vapor pressure in bar is 0.060, 283.15 it is 0.0121, 288.15 it is 0.0168, 291.15 it is 0.0204, 293.15 it is 0.0230, 295.15 Kelvin it is 0.0260, 297.15 Kelvin it is 0.0295, 299.15 Kelvin it is 0.0331, 301.15 Kelvin it is 0.0372, 303.15 it is 0.0418. Now my dear students, we want to study the partial pressure in terms of the mole fraction. So let us study this theory and understand it well. Suppose at the temperature T, three gases enclosed in the volume V at partial pressure P1, P2 and P3 respectively. So we can write according to the ideal equation, P1 is equal to N1 R T1, P2 is equal to N2 R, P1 is equal to N1 RT by V, P2 is equal to N2 RT by V, P3 is equal to N3 RT by V. So this is how, my dear students, we can write. So P1 is equal to N1 RT1 by V, RT by V, P2 is equal to N2 RT by V, and P3 is equal to N3 RT by V, where N1, N2 and N3 are the number of moles of gases. So looking at this number of moles of gases, my dear students, we can understand the expansion for the total pressure will be, the expression for the total pressure will be, we can write P total is equal to P1 plus P2 plus P3. This is what according to the Dalton's law of partial pressure, my dear students. So we write this P total is equal to P1, P2, P3 or P1 plus P2 plus P3 according to the Dalton's law of partial pressure. Now we know that P1 is equal to N1 RTV by V, P2 is equal to N2 RTV by RT by V, and P3 is equal to N3 RT by V. So we simply put the values for P1, we put the value for P2, and then we put the value for P3. As my dear students, we put the value for P1, P2 and P3, you can easily see that we get P total is equal to N1 R T1, we get P total is equal to N1 R TV RT by V plus N2 RT by V plus N3 RT by V. All these three terms have RT by V, so we can take RT by V common and then we can write P total is equal to N1 plus N2 plus N3 into the bracket and then outside the bracket RT by V. Now we are already aware that P1 is equal to N1 RT by V. So if we divide this equation with the previous equation, now remember my dear students, this equation we are going to divide it with the equation which is given over here. So this equation we are going to divide with each other. So we'll take the division. So what we should write here is, we should write P1 divided by P total. That means this P1 divided by P total is equal to N1 RT by V divided by N1 plus N2 plus N3 RT by V. The same I have written here, that P1 divided by P total is equal to N1 RT by V divided by N1 N2 plus N3 RT by V. This RT by V is common both in denominator and numerator, so we can remove it. And finally, we can write P1 divided by P total is equal to N1 divided by N1 plus N2 plus N3. Now, what is N1? N1 represents the mass of moles of gas 1. But this N1, N2 and N3 collectively they represents the total mass. So my dear students, here we can easily understand that this P1 by P total is nothing but the mole of gas 1 divided by total moles, and we know that the ratio of mole of gas divided by total mole is known as the mole fraction. So here mole of gas 1 divided by total mole is nothing but your mole fraction of gas 1, and mole fraction of gas 1 is represented as x1, my dear students. So we can write P1 divided by P total is equal to x1 into P total, and therefore P1 is equal to x1 into P total. So we just move this term on the right side of the equal to or equation, and then we can easily get P1 is equal to x1 P total. Similarly, my dear students, for P2 and P3 also we can write or we can derive that if P1 is equal to x1 P total, for P2 we can determine that P2 is equal to x2 P total, and for P3 we can determine that P3 is equal to x3 P total. And this is how, my dear students, we come to know about the relationship between the mole fraction of the gas and the pressure. So in general we can write Pi, that means P1, P2, P3, P4, anything you can write. So Pi is equal to Xi P total, where Pi is the partial pressure of a gas in the mixture of a gases. P total is the total pressure exerted by the gas, by the mixture of gas, and Xi is the mole fraction of ith gas. That means first, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever the number. And thus we can write in sentences that if the total pressure of a mixture, this is what it is the statement, my dear students, for whatever we have studied, that the total pressure of a mixture of a gas is known using the equation Pi is equal to Xi P total. We can calculate the partial pressure of the gas of the given gas, or we can calculate the partial pressure of the individual gas. Now let us study with one example or by solving one problem, whatever the theory we have studied. Let me read the question for you that we are going to solve it. A neon dioxygen mixture contains 70.6 gram of dioxygen and 167.5 gram of neon. If pressure of the mixture of the gas in the cylinder is 25 bar, what is the partial pressure of a dioxygen and neon in the mixture? So we just need to find out the partial pressure of the neon and the other gas. We are given the various data. Let us analyze the data in detail. So we have the data given. There is a mixture of neon and oxygen gas. We know that the molar mass of neon is 20 gram per mole. Molar mass of oxygen is 32 gram per mole. If you do not know, you should know it, because it is not necessary that you will be provided this value all the way in your questions. Then we have the next question. Mass of neon, that is small m Ne, is equal to 167.5 gram. Mass of dioxygen, that is small m O2, is equal to 70.60, and total pressure P total is given as a 25 bar. So by finding the moles, this is the strategy that we are going to use to solve this problem. So what is our strategy to solve this problem? By finding the moles N, Ne and NO2, we can calculate the mole fraction, that is X, Ne and XO2, and using this we can calculate the P, Ne and PO2. So first we need to find out the number of moles of neon. So number of moles of neon Ne is equal to small m Ne divided by capital M Ne. Let us put the value. So for small m Ne we can write 167.5 gram. For capital M Ne we can write 20 gram per mole, and ultimately we can find out 8.375 mole. Same way, my dear students, for the number of moles of dioxygen we can write the mass divided by the molar mass. Mass of oxygen is 70.6 and the molar mass is 32. Ultimately we get 2.21 mole. Now we want to find out the total mole. So we find out the total mole by the sum of 2.21 plus 8.375. You can see that I have been talking about these two moles that we have got. So this mole of neon and mole of oxygen, when we make sum or when we add both of them, my dear students, we just want to add. So if we add both of them, we get total mole Ne plus NO2. So we just write the sum of 2.21 plus 8.375. So if we want to find out the mole fraction of Ne, we need to have the formula mole of Ne divided by total mole. Mole of Ne is 8.375 and total mole is 2.21 plus 8.375. Finally, we get 0.79 mole for neon. If we minus 0.79 from 1, we can also get this 0.21 as an answer. But if we follow the proper calculation, then we can go for the mole fraction of dioxygen XO2 is equal to mole of O2 divided by mole of neon plus mole of oxygen, and that is why 2.21 divided by 2.21 plus 8.375, ultimately we get 0.21. So now we have the mole fraction of neon and oxygen. We can write Pi is equal to Xi into P total. So by using the value Pi is equal to Xi into P total, we can write Pne is equal to Xne into P total, and PO2 is equal to XO2 into P total. So for Xne we can write 0.79. P total is 25 bar. So we get the answer as 19.75 bar. Same way for oxygen, XO2 is 0.21 and P total is 25 bar. So finally we get 5.25 bar as the final answer. And this is how, my dear students, we can find out the pressure or the partial pressure of neon gas as well as the oxygen gas, which we are expected to calculate. Look at the question. They have asked us what is the partial pressure of, the question asks us what is the partial pressure of dioxygen and neon in the mixture. So the partial pressure of neon is 19.75 bar and partial pressure of our dioxygen is 5.25 bar. This is how we can solve the problem. I hope, my dear students, you have understood everything. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, or we can move to the next portion. Dear students, if you do not understand anything, you can ask me. Please do not waste time. If you understood, please let me know. If you could not understand, please ask. एटलीस्ट बता दीजिए आपको सब समझ में आया है कि नहीं आया है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
चलिए बच्चों, तो let's move to the next topic. The new topic for us is the kinetic molecular theory of gases. Let us pay attention to the kinetic molecular theory of the gases. This is the new topic that we are going to study now. So let us study this kinetic theory of, or kinetic molecular theory of gases. We have discussed the various gas laws, which are the consigned statement of the experimental facts observed in the laboratory by the scientist. A scientist is curious to know why the system behaves in a particular way. A theory is observed. A theory is constructed to answer various curious questions. So the first question that comes into our mind is, what is theory? So let us understand the definition of theory. A theory is a model, or we can say a mental picture, that enable us to better understand our observation. Once again, a theory is a model, or we can say a mental picture that enable us to understand the model, or to understand us to better understand our observation. Now, my dear students, let let me tell you about the kinetic molecular theory, a theory that attempts to elucidate means explain. A theory that attempts to explain the behavior of gases is known as the kinetic theory of gases or kinetic molecular theory. So now let us have a look to the assumptions or postulates of the kinetic molecular theory of the gases. So there are various assumptions or postulates of the kinetic molecular theory. Please note this important point that these postulates are related to the atoms and molecules which cannot be seen, remember. Hence, it is said to provide a microscopic model of gases. So, my dear students, when we study about the gases, gases are made up of atoms and molecules, and we cannot see them with our naked eye. So, this theory tells you something about a microscopic idea or microscopic model of the gases. So using this theory actually, we are going to study the microscopic model of the gas. Now let us start studying the postulates. Now let me make it clear to you also that what is the meaning of postulates. So postulates are those statements of those ideas that have no exactly proof, but they are the imagination of a particular person or scientist, or these postulates may be derived from the various observation of the scientist. So these what we are going to study are even also the postulates of this kinetic molecular theory. Let us look at the first postulates of kinetic molecular theory. Number one, gases consist of large number of identical particles. Identical means same. So gases consist of large number of same particle. They are either atoms or molecules that are so small and so far apart on the average that the actual volume of the molecule is negligible in comparison to the empty space between them. So now you can look at this figure, my dear students. This is what I am talking about. You just have looked to this. This is what it is, the gas container. The particle of gas are represented with the green dots and the empty space is represented with the blue shading. So now if we divide this gas container volume into two parts, we have one part which is the empty space, which is again represented with the blue color, and all these particles or all the dots, they even take some small volume, and this small volume is represented next to it with the green shading. So the blue space is the empty space and the green space is the space that is occupied in the container by the particle of gases. Now if you compare the green volume and the blue volume, you will realize that the green volume is negligible, is very small as compared to the empty space volume. So this is what the first postulate tells us, that gases consist of large number of identical particles, they are atoms or molecules, that are so small and so far apart on the average that the actual volume of the molecule is negligible in comparison to the empty space. So the actual volume of the molecule is negligible as compared to the empty space. This is what it says. Now I have given some instructions. Volume of particle of gas is negligible as compared to the empty space. With the blue color we have expressed empty space, and with the green color we have expressed the total volume of the particles. The particle of gases are considered point masses. These assumptions explain the compressibility of gases. You know, the particles are like points, so they are very small as compared to the space, and that is why when we apply pressure or when we compress, gases can be compressed and their volume can be decreased, because the empty space between the particles of molecules or empty space among the particles of molecule, it's so huge, it's so big that we can compress the gases. Then we have the next point. There is no force of attraction between the particles of there is no force of attraction between the particles of gases at ordinary temperature and the pressure. At ordinary temperature and pressure, there is no force of attraction between the particles of gases. The support for this assumption comes from the fact that gases occupy and fill all the space in the closed container, however big the container is. So my dear students, if you fill the gas in this much of container, suppose you have 1 mole of gas and you have filled it in this much of container. So it takes the volume of this container when you have 1 mole. Same way, if you take the bigger container and if you fill now this gas, the same 1 mole of gas to this much of big container. The same gas, my dear students, if you fill it now into this bigger container, which has the 1 mole only, and you will realize that this 1 mole gas has volume V1 over here, which is equal to this. The same 1 mole of gas will have now the volume V2, which is the volume of the bigger container. So if you fill the gas in small container, it will have small volume. If you fill it into the big container, it will have bigger volume. The same gas, if you fill into the room where you have been sitting, the 1 mole of gas itself will occupy the complete space of that room in which you have been sitting. So this way, my dear students, the particle of gases, they do not have force of attraction and they can expand their volume, they can expand themselves to whatever the volume they are filled. Next, and the third postulate, particles of gas are always in constant and random motion. Please remember that the particles of matters are continuously moving. They are moving in all directions and their speed is not even fixed. They are moving in all directions randomly, and that is why we can say that the particles of gas are always in constant and random motion. If particles were at rest and occupy a fixed position, then a gas would have had a fixed shape which is not observed. So my dear students, the particles of gas, they are not at rest, they are continuously moving, and as they are continuously moving, their shape is not fixed and their motions are random and their motions are in all directions. Please remember this point. It is also a very important point for us to study. Then we have the next postulates, my dear students. The next postulate says that the particles of gas move in all possible directions in straight line during their random motion. They collide with each other as well as they collide with the wall of the container in which they are filled. Due to collision, particles of gas apply force on the wall of the container. The force applied by particles of gases on the wall of container per unit area is called pressure, and thus gases exert pressure on the wall of the container. This is what we have studied in 9th standard even, my dear students, and we can simply say in one word that particle of gases or gases exert pressure on the wall of the container in which they are filled. Next postulate tells us about the collision of these gases. So let us study about the collision, my dear students. Let's look at the fifth postulate. The fifth postulate says about the collision of the gas particles. Collision of gas molecules or collision of gas particles are perfectly elastic. Elastic means on the collision they are not broken.